Before Shaolin makes you strong, it breaks you completely. Most people see Shaolin monks and think about power, speed, and discipline. But they never see the cost. They never see the childhoods that disappear. They never see the pain that becomes normal. They never see the mind that is slowly stripped of comfort, emotion, and ego. This is not a story about fighting others. This is the story of how Shaolin training breaks a human being and rebuilds him into something unshakable. This is the brutal reality of Shaolin training, the training that forged Shi Yan Ming. Shi Yan Ming entered the Shaolin Temple at just 5 years old. At an age when most children are learning how to play, he was learning how to suffer in silence. There were no toys, no gentle voices, no second chances. The temple was cold, the floors were stone, and the rules were absolute. Every single day began before sunrise. Sleep was short and never deep. The body was expected to move immediately, without hesitation. Training began while the mind was still heavy with fatigue. Stretching was painful. Legs were forced into deep stances until muscles shook uncontrollably. The body learned very quickly that resistance only made the pain worse. If a child collapsed, he was ordered to stand again. If tears appeared, discipline increased. Emotion was treated as weakness. Pain was not something to be avoided. Pain was something to be studied. Shaolin monks believed that suffering revealed truth. They believed a comfortable mind could never become strong. So before learning how to fight, Shi Yan Ming had to learn how to endure. Much of the training focused on stillness. Standing meditation for long periods of time. No movement. No distraction. Just breath and pain. When the mind wandered, punishment followed. Not out of cruelty, but correction. Physical training was relentless. Leg training came first. Horse stances were held for minutes that felt like hours. Heavy objects were placed on arms and shoulders to increase pressure. The body burned constantly. Weapons training followed. Wooden staffs struck forearms again and again. Bruises were expected. Blood was ignored. The body slowly stopped reacting to impact. Breathing techniques were drilled daily. Controlled breathing under stress. Breathing while muscles failed. Breathing while being struck. The goal was simple. Never lose control. One of the most misunderstood parts of Shaolin training is conditioning. Shi Yan Ming's body was trained to absorb impact. Strikes to the stomach. Blows to the chest. Pressure against bone. Over time, the body adapted. Pain did not disappear. The reaction to pain did. Winter was brutal. Training continued in freezing temperatures. Hands cracked. Skin hardened. Warmth was rare. Food was simple. Portions were small. Hunger was constant. Eating was never about pleasure. It was about survival. Mistakes were punished instantly. If posture was wrong, correction was physical. If discipline slipped, training increased. Ego was destroyed early. Pride had no place in Shaolin. Slowly, something changed. Shi Yan Ming's movements became precise. His reactions became automatic. His mind learned to remain calm under pressure. Where others panicked, he focused. Where others quit, he continued. Shaolin training did not create aggression. It created restraint. Violence was never the goal. Control was. As the years passed, Shi Yan Ming trained in multiple disciplines. Traditional kung fu refined balance. Weapons training sharpened awareness. Qigong strengthened internal energy. Meditation cleared the mind. Pain no longer surprised him. Fatigue no longer controlled him. But Shaolin training was not only physical. It was psychological. Silence. Isolation. Repetition. The same movements repeated thousands of times until effort disappeared. The goal was never to look strong. The goal was to become unbreakable. Eventually, Shi Yan Ming earned recognition within the temple. He had survived what most never could. But survival came with a cost. Years of strict rules and isolation created inner conflict. He began to question how ancient discipline could survive in a modern world. That question would later change his life forever. But the foundation had already been built. Shaolin training had done its job. It had removed weakness. It had erased fear. It had replaced comfort with discipline. What remained was a man who could endure more pain, control more emotion, and face more pressure than most people ever will. This is the truth behind Shaolin mastery. There are no shortcuts, no secret techniques, no easy path. Only suffering, only repetition, only discipline. Shi Yan Ming did not become strong because he was special. He became strong because he stayed when others quit. And that is the real lesson of Shaolin. Not how to fight, but how to endure.